We've learned that the Johannesburg City Council has approved a 2.5 billion rands loan from the French Development Agency following numerous failed attempts. Mayor Kabelo Kwamanda says the loan will provide much needed relief to the city's struggling finances. ActionSA Johannesburg Council caucus leader Nobuhle Mthembu joins us now for more on that. Nobuhle, good to have you and thank you very much for coming on. We believe yourselves, the DA and the ANC would have supported this particular loan. Why, after so many attempts, having not being successful, did you believe this time around this loan must certainly go through?
Good evening, Thabo, and thank you so much for the invite. Look, I think as ActionSA, we've been forthright from the beginning why we never supported the loan when it was first tabled in council. And we were not taken into confidence, and we had concerns around the whole loan and how long it was going to take to be repaid and the high interest rate. But the MMC of Finance, after quite a numerous interaction with him, he finally furnished us with the relevant documents, right, that responded to all the questions that we raised. And because he did that, and we came from a point where by now we understood that everything was done according to process. And we really had no reason at that point now not to support this loan, because he followed process. And when you look at it also, this will benefit the city of Johannesburg residents. But what he needs to do now from his side is to start aggressively going after people that owe the city, because the city has to start collecting revenue. So we had no reason after that not to support it. Hence, we went ahead and supported the item because it's putting the residents of the city forward in terms of service delivery, in terms of continuing with the KPEC projects as well.
Yeah, why is it only the DA and ActionSA seemingly who were given the documents after a review? Because the Good Party says this particular loan from the French Development Bank places an unnecessary financial burden on the residents. They're saying it lacks transparency and there are no project plans.
Look, Thabo, unfortunately, I'm not the spokesperson for the Democratic Alliance. I can only speak for ActionSA. And from our side as ActionSA, yes, we did raise this up. As I said, we've been forthright because the interest is quite high. So one of the questions we posed to the MMC of Finance was, would like to see the breeding process, because why only AFD? And look, Thabo, it'll give you a proper picture of what's happening in the city and the financial status of the city of Johannesburg. AFD was the only institution. They gave us a proposal. That gives you a picture already that the city is not in a good financial place. But as I said, everything, they followed process. From the bidding process, everything was followed right through. Everything was done according to the MFA Act. So that's why we supported. When it comes to the Democratic Alliance, I'm not their spokesperson. I can't divulge or speak on them, but I can only speak on us as ActionSA and our stance. And from the beginning, we've been very vocal and very transparent. We needed to be finished with certain documents that would answer the questions we had. We had numerous meetings with the MMC of Finance, and he did finish us with those documents. Hence, we supported. At the end of the day, Thabo, this is not us as politicians. This is about us serving the residents, and anything that is tabled in council or brought into council that will benefit the residents of the city of Johannesburg and proper process was followed. As ActionSA will definitely support that, 100%.
Yeah, the Good Party says this, Good Party, not DA, Good Party, are the ones who are saying this thing is not following Municipal Financial Management Act. It violates principles of good governance, because they are saying we've been asking for additional information and more clarity on the loan, but this was not put forward.
Look, Thabo, to be honest with you, the Good Party, they've had a councillor for the second, it's his second month in council, right? So when this item was initially tabled, he was not even there. When we were speaking out in council, he was just speaking on what ActionSA was saying. Hence, we are saying in the beginning, we did not support the item because we're not furnished with certain documents. But now we received all those documents, and there really is no reason not to support it. When it comes to the good party, they were not there when this was initially tabled, so they don't have that privy to that information. Hence, I would not even like to touch much on that because that councillor is new. It's only his second month attending council.
So you reject the notion that ActionSA is now engaged in transactional politics. So that's why they voted for this budget.
100%. I disagree with that statement, and I'm not going to entertain people who are playing politics, not at this crucial time where the municipality is hung. And when you look at our track record as ActionSA, sitting on opposition benches, there's a lot of items that came to council through the GLU that we supported. Remember, Thabo, last year's budget, we supported it, and we were sitting on opposition benches because there was transparency there. We're finished with all the relevant documents, and we understood what that meant to the residents. There's a motion we submitted about the eradication of the bucket system toilets, right? It got rejected. Then EFF brought that back as a motion of their own. We still put the residents first and supported that, regardless of us sitting on opposition benches. Look at our track record ever since we came into council. So I totally disagree with that statement. It's cheap politics, it really.
So you are saying you are now convinced that the Metro, for example, would have gone to local lenders, and local lenders did not want to touch the Metro. It's only this particular entity that would have wanted to consider this loan.
Yes, Thabo, that's why we are very vocal that Executive Mayor Kwamanda must exit. He must be planning for his exit because the financial status of the city is in tatters, which means he's not holding his executives accountable. If nothing gets done now about these municipalities, honestly speaking, we'll be in trouble, worse trouble than we are now. Hence, we are saying things must change. He's not holding his executive accountable. We are not collecting revenue as the city of Johannesburg. Hence, there was only one institution that could give us a proposal, right? And that is not right. So we should get people who should be able to do the job and change the financial status of the city. People will make sure departments function, especially departments that are supposed to bring in revenue. Look at our billing department. It's busy sending incorrect bills to the residents, hence they are not paying. Look at those government departments that are owing the city of Johannesburg millions and millions of rands, but we're not going after that. So departments like that and things like that need to be stopped. We need to start collecting revenue. And if we've got people in executive positions that are not doing that, then we'll blame the executive mayor because he's not holding them accountable. Then he must leave. That's what we're saying also as ActionSA. That's one of the reasons. Yeah. That's why we only got the proposal from one financial institution, which is the AFD.
So what is this earmarked for? What's the project plan?
Look, with this loan, when you look at the municipality, basically, as the city of Johannesburg, we depend on grants from National Treasury. We've got loans and we need to collect revenue in order for the municipality to function. This loan will help us with service delivery. We've got a huge backlog currently in regards to service delivery. And it will also help us with our CAPEX projects. And ActionSA, we've been very vocal about reclaiming the hijacked buildings in the city of Johannesburg. And why we've been vocal about that, remember, we are failing when it comes to collecting revenue. But if we reclaim those hijacked buildings, we can turn them into low-cost housing units, number one, turn them into student accommodation, number two. In that way, the city is collecting revenue and the residents are also benefiting because we've got a huge backlog when it comes to human settlement. People are looking for accommodation. We have students that come from rural areas and come to the inner city and are looking for student accommodation, majority of them cannot afford those expensive student accommodations that are there in the inner city. So as politicians, we must start moving into that direction and start to see how can we help the residents, and at the same line or on the same line, how can the city collect revenue from the assets that are just there and doing nothing. So the CAPEX project, it's where reclaiming of hijack of buildings can also be included.
What are the terms then of the loan? As you say, it's one of the things that you were worried about.
Look, yes, we did say that one of the things that we're worried about is the term it will take for us to repay the loan. 15 years, Thabo, you will also agree, it's a very long time. So we said this to the MMC of Finance, that 15 years is a very long time. What is the plan? Give us your plan. How are we going to repay this loan? Hence, we even gave them a solution that we must aggressively go after entities or departments that owe us money. Look at what happened last month, Thabo. Eskom took the city of Johannesburg to court. But we, as the city of Johannesburg, have not started that process against government departments that also owe us. Number two, what we propose is that we've got departments in the city that are not functioning. You look at our town planning department, if you go there and need an archive file of your home, you'll have a problem. You'll really have a problem. And some of these files, we're giving them out for free, while residents should be paying. So departments like that should start functioning, because that's one of the core departments of the municipality that needs to bring in revenue. As I spoke earlier on about the billing system, we need to aggressively start collecting revenue from our residents, but our residents won't pay if we keep on sending them incorrect bills. So these are the things that we tabled with the MMC of Finance, that residents should not be the ones that are paying off this loan, but us also, being in the city of Johannesburg, should be going out and aggressively collecting revenue so that we pay off this loan, then it does not weigh heavily on the residents. So that was our concern, one of our major concerns, the term and how are we going to repay it.
Nobuhle, let me appreciate your time. Thanks very much for coming on. Nobuhle Mthembu, City of Johannesburg, ActionSA caucus leader.